Good to see you again.
Welcome to the National Foundation for India. My team here are the colleagues who take forward the vision of the founding trustees. That vision was one of using private funds for philanthropy. This is the team that translates that and takes action to try and see how we can take care of the many issues that confront us in India today. As the economy powers ahead at over 9% per year, we yet have more than half the population suffering from malnutrition. We also have a lot of illiteracy and a whole host of other issues. And we feel that it is philanthropy and civic action that can handle many of these issues best. It is this that the team here at National Foundation for India tries to take forward as we move on. We are 15 years old now, or I should say in the life of an institution, 15 years young. This is a short period in the life of an institution. And as we mark this anniversary, we look forward to doing much more and contributing more vibrantly towards making India a far more just, equitable, and happy society.
The first person to come up with the idea of a new foundation in India was Kamala Chowdhury, an Indian colleague of ours. And I think her idea was that there were so many Indian foundations and trusts that were dedicated to charity that it would be good if we added to that landscape a foundation dedicated to social change. And we then liked that idea and began talking to people in India about it, one of whom was M.S. Swaminathan, who is on our board. To me, the most important idea about philanthropy is that it embodies this notion that the success of one person can support hopes and dreams of other people. And in that is express the idea of generosity and trust in others, that you don't control everything yourself, you're willing to put your resources in the hands of other people. And every society needs innovators, needs new thought leaders, needs experimentation. So for me, seeing that happen and seeing it happen in India and other places around the world with this social change purpose has been very, very rewarding.
NFI is a grant-making organization, although NFI is also involved with some implementation work for its own learning. And I have spent about 19 years in the social development sector. From my experience, I can say grant-making is not an easy field. It's not easy to spot ideas that can work, ideas that hold potential but have never been tried out, ideas that have never been tested. In most cases, NFI treats a path which has never been treated.
Before NFI was both established and its programs were finalized, there were consultations all over the country, all the major cities of the country. The late Bharat Ratna C. Subramaniam was kind enough to come to many of them and chair many of them. In fact, the very first meeting was held in Raj Bhavan in 1990 in Maharashtra. All these meetings were attended by other philanthropists, those who are holding their own philanthropic organizations, their own foundation. And they themselves came and suggested, we do need a national foundation and we are willing to support it. The founding fathers or the founding members of NFI came from diverse backgrounds. The first leader was Bharat Ratna C. Subramaniam, a man of great achiever. He was in politics. He was one of those who combined Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of dharma in politics. Politics and ethics were ingrained in him, and he provided the kind of spiritual and moral authority and leadership to NFI in the earlier years. And in the land of Gandhi and Buddha, we should try to develop a society in which everyone had an opportunity for fulfillment. This was the dream of NFI. It was converted into a mission. The mission alone has to be broken down into action, and that is what gradually happened.
have worked intensively in the states of Northeast. This is an area where few resource agencies have ventured. Yes, for NFI, there has been setbacks, challenges while working there. But today, we are filled with lots of positive stories as well. Our partners in the grassroots have shown us that social transformation can happen if there is passion and commitment in the work. In the process of working, we have also tried to learn from our failures and mistakes. Perhaps at NFI, it is this spirit of never shying away from failures that has made me spend around 10 years at this very place. For me, NFI is much beyond grant making. We may be giving a range of grants to young and established NGOs to run good schools, promote better health, organize meaningful dialogues, or just strengthen local governance with their respective communities. But the central idea is just one. That is, NFI would like to see the emergence of a stronger civil society in the country.
I was nearing retirement. I was then working in Delhi, and my plan was to leave immediately and settle down in Chennai. But I got a call from Mr. C. Subramaniam, who was then Governor of Maharashtra, to come over and talk to him, and I did. And he talked to me about NFI, what steps had been taken to register and get it started. And he wanted me to establish it and take over as a first executive director. I found by kind of happy coincidence that both of us, me as a retiring civil servant and he with something like 40, 50 years of government work, was getting round to the view that government, even a very benign government, had major limitations in terms of what it can do to promote development. And I found Mr. Subramaniam echoing the same thoughts and said this is one reason why he felt that an organization was needed that can support private initiatives. In other words, he was not thinking in terms of another organization which will go and do things, but as a central support financing institution that will help voluntary effort all over India in some defined areas.
The core strength of NFI is trying to really go deep in trying to understand the problem that affect development today in India. And the idea is to actually work with the partner organization, with the field level organizations, and try to see how to address and reach to the crux of the issue. This is very critical because if one has to learn and if one has to make sustainable interventions, it is very necessary that we reach to the basic core. And that's how NFI is on a learning curve, and that's how all of us come together, work together and try to build interventions which are conducive to the local environment, kind of address the crux of the issue, and are also sustainable in nature. The other core strength of NFI, which is very strong, is the relationship of trust that we have with the partner organizations and individuals that we are associated with. We do not believe in the conventional donor-donee relationship. We see ourselves as partners in the process of development, and that is the beginning and end of all dialogues within and outside the foundation.
My background is slightly unusual in that my better part of my life was spent in the UK, and I'm very happy that I came here because NFI is in many ways an epitome of what development requires now. It acts as a middle person between the people who have got money and deal with people on the ground, and so NFI has to balance the needs of the grassroots with the requirements of its donors. And so it is very important for NFI to often make sure that it understands all the grassroots problems, some of which is not measured in money, some of which cannot be quantified immediately, and some of which take a long time to come to fruition.
The founders of the National Foundation for India had grown to appreciate the efforts of ordinary people and voluntary organizations in serving the common interests of all sections of society. My colleagues, I feel, are translating the vision of our founders into action on an everyday basis. They act as trustees for those who have given us their wealth for public purposes, and also for those who are struggling on the ground and in the media to make our society more just and better governed. 15 years is not a long time in the life of an institution, but it is long enough for an institution to gain its identity. The National Foundation for India has found direction, and now the challenge for us is to raise resources to make it a truly significant organization in the field of social justice philanthropy.